I'm very disappointed about the result. I'm not necessarily surprised because Nick did tell me that it could happen and he didn't want to leave me out of the loop. I knew going into Tribal that Rob was going home. I couldn't bring myself to write his name down. So now I'm going to be perceived as a strategic threat, but also somebody who's thinking about his jury reputation, because since I didn't vote for Rob, people are going to presume that's because I did that because I knew he was going home, so when I get to final two, he votes for me, which is not good. So I really don't know what I'm going to do at the moment. That was a good result. We just take him out now. Look, if he doesn't win, then we have to take him out. Yes, that's the idea. Last Tribal, we took out Rob, and although I would have liked to take out Jim, I'm not entirely upset about it. Rob was a physical threat. Now all I need to do is to try and beat Nick, who is my other competition. If Jim is to win another immunity challenge, which fingers crossed he doesn't, then I think Nick has to be the target, because he is the next biggest threat that isn't me, and I'm working with Madison. So I'm thinking if Jim wins again, which hopefully he doesn't, then Nick has to be the person we target. Yeah, I'm down to do that. So the rest of the game is pretty straightforward. If Jim loses, Jim goes. If he wins, then Nick goes. And I think that would be a very easy way to go about it, because if Jim does win, then he'll probably try and go for Jessica, but he doesn't have any allies, so it doesn't matter. So Jim's completely out of the picture at the moment. So from now until the end of the game, it's probably going to be me and Jessica running things, which is great. If you're in power, it's a good place to be. However, I've got to watch with a very careful eye, because you know, this alliance kind of formed in the idea of taking out Jim. Once Jim goes, what happens to the alliance? You know, people could target me. So even though I'm in the power position at the moment, I still need to keep my eyes open for a potential rebellion. Do you think we did the right move? What do you mean? Taking out Rob? Look, I think it was the best move. I just kind of feel bad because I didn't want to betray Jim, but I felt like it was the best move. Well, I think it was the best move because I know you're working with him and I know you were close with him. However, he was just the biggest threat in this game. He's still here and we need to take him out. I understand that. I just kind of feel a bit bad. He was my closest ally. I understand that. Me, Rob and Jim have been working together since the Cali boot, and we've been working very efficiently together as well. Last Tribal, it was mainly me who stepped out of line to betray both Jim and Rob. I did it because, one, Jim was a big threat and Rob was a close ally of his, and we need to take out Jim. I like Jim, but he needs to be the next one to go because he's just too much of a threat. I know I wanted to go to the end of the game with him, but honestly, tell me the truth, do you think that's the smartest choice for us? For me especially? I can't go to the end with him. Hey dude. No, hey Nick, what do you want? I just come to tell you that if it came down to it, I would potentially consider taking out Jessica. I only voted for Rob last Tribal because, like I said, that was the direction we were going in. He was a social and physical threat as well. He was just a bit dangerous on that game. Alright, well, if you're still willing to do Jessica, if we get another member, then we can have a pretty decisive vote on Jessica. Cool. Before you say, oh, what's Nick doing now? I'm doing this to make Jim feel comfortable. There is probably an idol still out there, let's say in theory, because this is the last round to use an idol. I don't want him to find it and play it, and then give him the deciding vote on who goes home next. He'll have just too much power that way. So I need to keep him feeling comfortable so he doesn't go off and look for the idol and then blow this game up. We can't have that. Hey dude. Oh, hey Lexi. I'm sorry for voting for Rob. I just kind of felt bad for doing it, so I just wanted to apologize. There's no need to apologize. You had your reasons. Everyone makes moves. I just want to talk to you about something though. Yeah. I know that people perceive me as a big threat, and I'm possibly the next target. However, you and Madison, especially Madison, cannot march into the Final Four with 2 challenge beasts. That's just not smart. One of them is bound to steamroll the competition. The moment at Final Four, let's say Nick or Jessica win the immunity challenge, you vote out the other challenge beasts, you go to the Final 3, you've still got a challenge beast there who's high chance going to win final immunity. So then that complicates things and that puts you or Madison in danger. Taking out challenge beast at Final 5 is the smartest move. Jim has proposed something, and it's very interesting to think about. First of all, yeah, there's 2 challenge beasts still in the game, so do we vote one of them out? Potentially it is the smartest move. However, Jim is still possibly the biggest strategic threat in this game. And I know that the final immunity challenge is bound to be endurance based more than physical strength based. So just because it's physical threats doesn't necessarily mean that they'll win the final immunity challenge. However, there is still a higher chance that one of them will to steamroll the next 3 immunity challenges, I should say, and then make it to final 2. He is right on that. But the question is that are we, which one's the better move? Taking out Jim or taking out a challenge beast in either Jessica or Nick? Are you ready to get to your next immunity challenge? Yeah, for today's challenge, you're going to hold on to a block on a narrow pole and hold on for as long as possible. If you fall, you are out of the challenge. Last person standing wins immunity safe from the vote. Losers trouble counts where somebody will be the 14th person voted out of this game. Alright, we'll draw for spots and we'll get started. Okay, everybody is in position and this challenge is on. This is a callback to the Final 5 challenge in Season 6. Oh, I really like that one. I bet you did, Nick. So far, everyone is holding on strong, but this challenge can change in an instant. Everybody is still holding on strongly. Everyone seems like they want to win this today. And just as I say that, Madison drops. She's the first person out of this challenge now. We're at Final 5 now. This challenge could potentially decide who wins it. If you drop now, your chance of $1 million could be over. If you win, you're into the Final 4. So think about that. Congratulations, you guys have been up there for 30 minutes. Keep it up. You guys have been up there for 45 minutes now. A little bit of movement from Jim. Jim looks a lot more off balance at the moment than everybody else. And Jim falls. He's the next person out of this challenge. We're down to Lexi, Nick, and Jessica still fighting it out for immunity. You guys have been up there for 1 hour now. Congratulations. Everybody's still going hard. Keep at it. You guys have been up there for 1 hour and 20 minutes now. Congratulations. Lexi falls. She's out of this challenge now. We're down to Nick and Jessica. Can Nick continue his dominance in this season's immunity challenges? Or can Jessica win her first immunity challenge since very early on in the merge? You guys have been up there for 1 hour and a half now. Keep it up. You guys are still going strong. Keep it up. Oh, and seemingly out of nowhere, Jessica drops, meaning Nick wins immunity and is safe from the vote. Congratulations, Nick, on winning immunity, guaranteed spot in the Final 4. As for the rest of you guys, Trouble Council tonight where somebody will be the 14th person voted out of this game and become the 7th member of the jury. It will not be you, Nick. Grab your stuff and back to camp. I'll see you tonight. winning immunity is great. Jim doesn't have it, so hopefully tonight we can just take him out pretty easily and get this, well, paranoia of him winning this game over one of us out of here. So, yes, good result. Congratulations, man. Yeah, good work, Nick. Thank you, guys. Look, to me it didn't matter who won immunity. I would have loved it to be me, though. However, now tonight it rests for me upon Lexi and Madison. If I can get them to vote for Jessica, then I'd have done my job and Jessica goes home. That is what rides upon my shoulders at the moment. If it pulls off, I get to stay here for Final Four. If it doesn't, you can wave my pretty ass goodbye. Look, tonight I think the two of you, although you might want to take me out, it's smarter for the two of you to take out Jessica. Why Jessica? Look, you cannot march into the Final Four with two challenge beasts. It gives them, well, one of them a better chance at steamrolling the competition and going to Final Two just by winning immunity challenges. You can picture it. Let's say Nick wins. If you vote me out and Nick wins the Final Four immunity challenge, and you guys will just take out Jessica, right? Nick still has a higher chance of beating both of you in the final free immunity challenge. Yeah, but if we do vote for Jessica tonight, he still potentially wins. That is correct, but you can't march forward with two challenge beasts. It's just too dangerous. The chances of one of them winning and steamrolling the competitions increases. Look, mathematically it makes sense. Yeah, I know that. Look, we'll consider it. I understand where Jim is coming from. Jessica is a very strategic and physical player, so taking her out towards the end makes sense. But Jim is more strategic, and I value that as the biggest, well, requirement to winning. He has got mainly everything down, and his reputation is pretty good as well. He is right though. Mathematically, his idea makes sense. The probability remains the same. Like, if we do take out Jessica, Nick potentially still wins the next two immunity challenges. He might be right that taking two challenge beasts into the Final Four is dangerous. I can see his reasoning behind that. I don't want to lose the opportunity to take out Jim while he's vulnerable. And yeah, I just feel like it's given me something to decide though. It's questioned my, well, original plan. I still want to take out Jim, but we'll see where it goes. Okay, tonight it's Jim, right? Yes. Take out Jim on 3. 1, 2, 3. Take out Jim. Jim is the one obstacle in front of the finish line tonight. So I take great pride in dismantling and destroying his game tonight. You know, it's sad seeing a person go. Actually, no, forget about that. It's not sad seeing a big freak go. Seeing someone like Jim go tonight will make me genuinely happy because I feel like if he goes, I win the game. So, I don't really care. If Nick goes tonight, then boom, I feel like I've won this game. So I'm pretty happy right now. We're swing votes tonight. Yeah, kind of exciting actually. So we can either go with Jessica, big blind side, or we can take out Jim, big blind side. Personally, and I don't want to come across like it's an alliance point of view, but I do want to take out Jessica because she is more of a physical threat than Jim, and I feel like out of everybody here, she is the most on par strategically to Jim. I mean, she aided in taking out Georgia. She had that colossal blind side on Jerry, and I believe she also took out Daryl earlier on in the pre-merge. She has made some big moves in this game. I mean, I know Jim has as well, but physically, like no one holds a candle out of any of us except for Nick. I see your point. I prefer Jim though because, look, I understand his reasoning that marching into the Final Four with two challenge pieces is dumb. However, he is just too much of a loose cannon, and he's also a social and strategic threat to take into the Final Four. Is just, I think that's equally just as dumb. Tonight I think it's a perfect opportunity Plus, at Final Four, I feel like the challenge beasts are going to go after each other anyway, which they probably will, and he knows, and Jim knows that. But he said that one of them's bound, like the chances are that one of them is bound to make it all the way to the end by winning the challenges. So he doesn't want us to increase those odds by bringing two with us into the Final Four. Yeah, and I understand that. However, I just feel like we're missing an opportunity tonight. Look, Jim is more strategic social, Jessica is strategic physical. Forget about the challenge beast theory or Jim has made bigger moves theory. Let's forget about that, okay? We're looking at it. They're both strategic players. Jim is social, potentially picks up more votes. However, Jessica has a higher chance of making it to Final 2 with her physical gameplay. So that's the question. I would much rather take out Jessica. Madison would much rather take out Jim, right? If Madison isn't going to flip, what's the point of me flipping? I will only flip tonight if Madison wants to flip. So, Jim, I'm sorry, but if Madison doesn't flip, I can't vote for Jessica. That's just because what's the point? Welcome, Mogo Tribe, to another Tribal Council. First things first, bring the members of the jury. Mike, Marjorie, David, Georgia, Josh, and Rob voted out at the last Tribal Council. So, Nick, you win immunity. How do you feel? Great, Jeff. I think the notion that we're coming down to the end of the game is in the back of everyone's mind. So winning is just getting me closer. So I'm happy with this. Jessica, how do you feel? You know, the last tribal was also split. Every tribal has basically been split. Do you feel nervous? 100%. Yes, Jeff. I mean, we're at Final 5 now. I think tonight will be a pretty simple vote, and I feel like the simple vote is the smartest move. However, it could always just change. Madison, do you agree that the smartest move tonight might be the smartest move? Well, yeah, the smartest move tonight is the smartest move, yes. You know what I mean, the simplest move, I should have said. The simplest move could be this smartest move tonight, and I think it is. Can I interject there, Jeff? Sure. The simplest move tonight might be the smartest move overall. However, how do you win Survivor? You don't just play Survivor by maybe taking out the biggest threat in that particular moment. No, people think that's the way you do it. No, it's making the bold move that flips the game on its head, because at the end of the day, that's what is admired by the jury. I mean, picture back to season 2 with Georgia taking out Stephanie at the beginning of the jury part of the game. No one really saw that coming. Spring forward to Ken taking out Emily with one vote in a very similar to what I did with Georgia. You know, that was unorthodox. And then you go to season 6, pretty controversial move when taking out Roger, but it's flipped the game on its head, and thus, you know, maybe being admired by the jury. Very interesting. Well, it is. Time to vote. Madison, you'll start us off.
I truly believe tonight whoever goes home, the person who stays, will win this game. Goodbye, Jessica. Jim, I'm voting you out tonight because when you go home, I feel like everybody else in this competition will be just a piece of cake, so I hope it's you tonight.
I'll go tally the votes. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play it, now is your last night to do so. No? Okay, once the votes are read, the decision is final. Person voted out will be asked to leave this tribal council area immediately. I'll read the votes. First vote, Jessica. Second vote, Jim. That's one vote Jim, one vote Jessica. Third vote, Jim. That's 2 votes Jim, 1 vote Jessica. Fourth vote, Jessica. We are tied again. 2 votes Jim, 2 votes Jessica, 1 vote left. The 5th vote, and the 14th person voted out, and the 7th member of the jury, Jessica. Wow.
Jessica, that's 3, that's enough for tonight. I'll need you to bring me your torch. Jessica, the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go. Well, there you go. Even at final 5, you're still capable at making blindsides. You are now realizing that we are getting close to this game, so anything can happen. Grab your torch, it's about to camp. Good night.
Well, that was bitterly disappointing, but hey, what can you do?
I kind of knew I was done when I saw the second vote come up for me. That was when I knew that someone had flipped, and why would someone flip just randomly like that? So I knew there was going to be the third vote for me, and then that was just disappointing.
I would have loved to keep going. I felt like if Jim went home, I had the best chance at winning out of any of the final 4. But it just goes to show that you should never get too comfortable.